I don't know. I'm still hung up on why I get surprised every once in a while when we meet somebody who just screams incredible success, smart, gets it, has 99% of the world buttoned up, but yet there are these couple of blind spots they haven't dealt with yet. That still surprises me.
Well,
What is that?
in a word,
Sure. Or three. What?
it's in 2 words, it's lack of awareness. Welcome to the whole wealth journey.
Wealth with a Y. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Are we spelling it funny?
No, I think it's
We're using the word why.
the word Y, right?
Okay, good.
Not the letter Y, the actual word Y.
Well, I know why.
Why?
Because we want to help people get on their path. Then the path is all about their why.
And it's about aligning your finances with the people, the experience, and the passions that give their lives true meaning.
It's getting way beyond the bank statements, the brokerage statements, the trust documents, the life insurance, and taking a deeper dive into your why.
Well, admittedly, we're not for everyone. This is different. We're for the bold ones who really want to dive deeper and seek a life that resonates with who they really are at their core. Who finds value in vulnerability?
Well,
You and I do.
you and I do, and that's where we want to play, but not everybody is comfortable with that vulnerability.
Maybe we should introduce ourselves. What do you think?
Oh, that's a good idea. Jim Gebhardt.
And I'm Matthew Grishman. We are the co-creators of the podcast, The Whole Wealth Journey. Ready to find your why? Then let's get started and get you one step closer to unlocking your inner wealth and well-being. Hey, what are you grateful for today?
This is the culmination of Grace's lacrosse career.
Oh,
It is senior year at UC Davis, and I am so unbelievably grateful that I can go to these games, that I can witness the show that she's putting on her senior year, which is pretty much been the show she's been putting on all 4 years, but this one's just a little extra special because it's the finale. It's the final act. She started playing lacrosse in 3rd grade.
wow.
The very first year they started having a little kiddie club thing in Lafayette. And a couple of those dads are coming to the game on Saturday. Her high school coach is coming to the game on Saturday. We're back east watching 2 of her games in the Midwest. We've been down to San Diego a couple times. We're going down for the final season game in San Diego, which will probably determine whether or not they make it into the Big 12 playoffs.
That's awesome.
Just to have the freedom of schedule, the freedom of money, the freedom of time to be able to do what it is I want to do when I want to do it.
Relationship, yeah.
Right?
All of it.
I am so unbelievably grateful for that.
That's awesome, dude.
It is good and bad, right? Awareness. We're talking a lot about awareness. I'm very aware of how fast this has all gone. And so I'm just trying to milk these last few little nuggets of competition. Because when it's over, it's over.
Right.
It's not like she's going on to the professional lacrosse league,
Sure.
right?
So how do you slow it down? How do you slow time down right now?
I just sit there at different times. Like we get there early for the home games because there's a pregame thing that Beth and one of the other moms coordinates, and it's a little tailgate, but it's not really a tailgate because it's up in the stadium. And we get there early, and I'm generally the only parent that is standing out in the stadium when they come in for their pregame warm-up.
Okay.
And I get so much satisfaction out of that because half the girls on the team, I'll do something funny. Like I'll do a Draymond right away where I flex my biceps, like, hey, do you guys know of a good veterinarian around here? Oh, why is that? Oh, because my pythons, they hurt.
Massive.
And, we'll do some fun, or there's music going, and I'll do some funny little dance, and I'll get some engagement. And Grace and I do the little
hand signals.
Back and forth.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So that's how I slow it down.
Good.
The team has been riddled with injuries, particularly ACLs, MCLs, ACLs, all just.
That's alphabet soup for bad knees, right?
Wow, it's been just unbelievable to watch.
Yeah.
To see these young women out competing in the sport that they love and playing at the level that they're playing at.
Sure.
and all that resistance and all that fear and all that, well, what if? And when they score, it all slows down for me. It's the coolest feeling because, I mean, I haven't been in the weight room with them. I haven't been in the PT rooms with them. I haven't, I've had my own little journey with that stuff. So I kind of know in my own little way what that's been like.
Sure.
But knowing what they've gone through and then to see them have that kind of success, it just, that's how it all slows down.
Well, I mean, just the memory dividends that you're collecting along the way.
So awesome.
Right, is also part of the technique of how we slow things down, right? I mean, this is some of the first initial part of the awareness is helping people see just how quickly time clicks by and how limited a resource time is, right? As an entrepreneur, we've learned that money is a resource that we can go make more of. Most entrepreneurs believe that, hey, I can go make more money. It's money. That's what I do. I know how to make money. And at times, we also know how to make more energy, right? We can rest and refill the energy tank. But the one thing we as entrepreneurs have not figured out yet is how do we make more time? And I don't know that the laws of physics allow for that to happen. So just the fact that you and I have put some emphasis on this syllable, meaning slowing time down, expanding time that exists with these tiny little exercises, these tiny little intentional acts.
Oh, yeah.
How often, when the whistle blows and there's a timeout, are you pulling this out of your pocket, phone out of your pocket to check the market, to check the email, to check the text messages, to look something up on Chrome, to Google, to Perplexity?
No. I'm generally engaging with one of the other parents that are sitting around us.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Right? It's the fast forwarding through the ads and the commercials of life that we've got to get out of the habit of doing.
Yeah, we get there early.
Right.
And we don't rush out. We don't leave when the whistle blows and the game's over.
Part of my gratitude is, I mean, it's still baseball. It's still early in the baseball season. So I'm still riddled with gratitude about baseball season. The first 2 weeks of the season, I got to go to 4 different ballparks and experience one of my favorite things in one of my favorite places, being a ballpark, with some of my favorite people. First game I went to was in Cincinnati opening day with a very close family, an adopted family. They've adopted me as part of their family. We're celebrating somebody who was playing that day in Cincinnati for the San Francisco Giants and being with that family, some of my absolute favorite people on earth, to celebrate that, as well as I got lots of time by myself. I got to be with me. I traveled alone with myself, and it was just great to have me time. The second game I went to was in New York with Mom, Dad, Hank and Jill, Daniel and Jillian, and 2 of his 3 girls. And to be able to be with them at Citi Field, one of the most amazing baseball venues on earth, it was incredibly special. Game 3.
And the parking's free. So, I mean, why wouldn't you go?
When you go with Hank, parking's always free, no matter what. And then game 3, you and me, right? You and I got to go to a Giants game and watch that same friend of ours pitch his ass off, have a great game.
Yep.
And I think we were the last ones to leave the stadium.
Pretty close.
We were some of the first ones there. And I think literally as we looked around the seats in the stadium.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
There were a lot more seagulls eating bits out in the bleachers than there were people in the entire stadium. And of course, the 4th game with Amy, we get to go watch the Mets and the A's. I am beaming with gratitude that I'm able to slow time down by creating these memory dividends. I don't know about you, but the time I do spend in this thing, in this phone, a lot of it is cashing in on my memory dividends. It's looking at how creatively Apple has now organized the photos in my iPhone, where now it can organize them by trips and memories and
adventures.
Events. I mean, it's got the early days of you and me here. And so when I'm in this thing,
as you're holding up your phone.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually slowing time down as I'm going through some of those memory dividends. It's wonderful. So I'm grateful for all of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's continue this awareness conversation. 'Cause
Absolutely.
We got more to do.
There's lots that we're going to get a little bit more into the how, I think, today in terms of what do we do once the client has signed the proposal and we start to engage.
Right. How do
Right.
we start creating a little more awareness?
And it's through some tools that we've developed that, again, so much of what we're about is intentionality, and the intentionality around these questionnaires, these checklists, these assessments, whatever you want to do, is part and parcel to the fact that we need to put a marker down for where are we now. No attachment, no judgment, we don't care where you're at right now, but we've got to put a line in the sand to be able to measure in it, going back to your last episode, your 3,000th day of sobriety, right?
Mhm.
We want to be able to measure 300 and 900 and 2,700 and 3,000 days from now, the progress that you've made from today with where you're at with these different assessments, right? And all of this is driven to fostering this new awareness muscle on where you're at.
Yeah. What I love is when they first come in, and even before we've gone through the 4 Ps and created this proposal, there, these 4 kind of stages of awareness, right? And seeing our new entrepreneur relationship that we're developing and having somebody come in at this place where we would call it unconscious incompetence, right? Where someone is completely unaware of what they don't know, right? And it doesn't really require any effort to be in that space, right? We're just kind of going through life completely ignorant and not knowing what we don't know. And sometimes it's a lovely place to be. Where we kind of smack them in the face with the proposal that we send them is the first dose of the next level of awareness, which is conscious incompetence, where all of a sudden we now become aware
Of what we don't know.
Yeah, what we don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And that, to get to that place where there's even a little bit of acceptance that I know what I don't know, it takes a significant amount of effort to get there. And so our process is really designed for the bold and the most courageous of entrepreneurs who are willing to hold the mirror up and become aware of what they're not aware of.
With their partner.
Absolutely.
Not their business partner, their life partner.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
And have some of these ooey gooey conversations around this stuff. In order for us to be able to have these kinds of conversations, there has to be a truckload of trust in the room.
Yeah.
That A, we have no judgment over this, wherever you're at. B, we're not spreading it all over town. It's a confessional as far as our future version of this show eventually being the Jew and the Gentile.
Right.
We are going to use the confidentiality around, because we have clients where we've got multiple partners in the same business. And I mean, we wouldn't be in business today if we were blabbermouths about any of this stuff.
Your story is not mine to tell, right? Sure, we have legal and moral obligation as fiduciaries to maintain confidentiality at all costs. But I mean, let's just be good humans for a second here and realize that for me
What's
to be
that?
a good human,
Yeah.
right?
In today's world,
that's an endangered species.
That's a completely endangered species.
I think within our tribe, there are a lot more good humans than we think. Total sidebar tangent now that you've opened up this can. I do believe there are a lot more good people in the world. It's when those good individual people get together in groups that all of a sudden things start getting a little wonky.
Little groupthink.
I'm that, like you, I'm an optimist. And I do believe that every human being is born good. And I believe every human being is good by nature. I believe good people can make shitty decisions, can make bad decisions, can even border on evil decisions. But I am just of the nature that I don't believe there are evil people in the world. I believe everybody is good at heart. And sometimes they can get really, really jaded into making really bad decisions, generally because of fear.
And they're not aware.
And they're unaware, right? So when they come see us and we take them through this process where they go from an unconscious level of incompetence to a conscious level of incompetence, we then can start creating some conscious competency, where now we are aware of what we know, and we're working pretty hard at.
The simplest way I've ever been able to think of this little matrix is blind spots.
Yes, absolutely.
Blind spots. And you and I have been very passionate about this concept because so often that's what takes people out.
They're blind spots.
They're blind spots.
Sure, little
right?
little ones.
Well, I mean, think of just the perfect analogy of a car crash, right? And how often all the new tech and all these new cars is to help
Right.
make you aware of these blind spots.
It's not right in front of you.
No,
it's the blind spot.
It's the blind spot that gets you, right?
Right.
And the same applies here from the context of whether it's a health issue or a relationship issue or a spending issue or a
Sure. An estate planning. Remember that? What does the name Joe Robbie mean to you?
Yes.
Remember the name Joe Robbie? Billionaire football team owner of
it brings a wonderful memory of that era of the Miami Dolphins to mind.
Yeah.
And then
an amazing human with a blind spot.
Given our business, then it quickly, like all the air leaves the room and the balloon and everything else, and I feel totally sad because of the missed opportunity with the blind spot of his estate plan.
Yep. Missing a couple little life insurance policies. Well, a couple big insurance policies, but a very simple miss, right? How about our boy Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini?
Yeah.
One of the most successful actors of all time with Sopranos, blind spot. He decided with his second marriage to split his estate evenly between his children from his first marriage and his current wife. Well, he died unexpectedly. And what happened? Half his estate wound up getting estate taxes, where the whole thing could have been passed on with some very simple advice by making his spouse his primary beneficiary, right? With the unlimited marital deduction. There are these kinds of little blind spots, and I don't know why I'm still surprised by this. When you and I sit down with an entrepreneur or a business owner who's created a $150, $200 million business, and we haven't uncovered the blind spot of the estate planning opportunity yet. Now, great. Hey, I'm grateful because that's job security for you and me, right? As professional blind spotters who love taking people through the process of going from unconscious incompetency all the way through the knothole of conscious competency to where we almost get to an unconscious competency because now we just do it. It just becomes automatic where this is how we operate. I love watching people go through that process, but I'm still hung up on why I get surprised every once in a while when we meet somebody who just screams incredible success, smart, gets it, has 99% of the world buttoned up, but yet there are these couple of blind spots they haven't dealt with yet. That still surprises me.
Well,
what is that?
In a word?
Sure. Or three.
It's in 2 words. It's lack of awareness. Which is 3 words.
In me?
No.
Well, I know what it is in them. What's it? Why am I still surprised? Come on. It's this all about me, dude.
You would think after all the time that it has existed with general awareness of these concepts, particularly, let's say, in estate planning,
right,
that someone like that would have everything buttoned up.
Yeah.
I think it's, I mean, I've gotten to my own level of acceptance around the fact that most people don't have their financial house in order.
Right.
They just don't.
Sure.
Because it's always one of those things where they know they need to do something. They don't necessarily know what the something is or who to do that with. And therefore, they go back to the burning pot on the front of the stove and they put that in the back burner until
it becomes important. Or urgent, not even important. We know it's important.
Until they're diagnosed with something.
One of the 5 Ds.
Right?
Yep.
And now they got to take action.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have that feeling.
You're not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm still not surprised.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess deep down I have this, maybe, I don't know, maybe it is an expectation that for someone to get to that place in life, professionally and financially and personally, that there just has to be steps and certain boxes that need to be checked along the way. And it's amazing how sometimes those boxes are missed because of just some simple blind spots.
But what is the to go back and use one of our favorite words from your cousin, what is the blurse in all of that, right? What is the combination of the blessing and the curse of the entrepreneur?
Right.
The blessing and the curse of the entrepreneur is they go, 700 miles an hour
Yes.
in 700 directions.
Yes.
So consequently, the ability to be distracted with new opportunity, a new challenge in the business, a new investment opportunity. That's all the basic blocking and tackling.
Right.
It's not optional.
Right.
We are insistent on making sure that the blocking and the tackling. I mean, I've been involved with cases and clients where, they bring their insurance policies in for review, their life insurance policies. And I'll be like, hey, Tom, your ex-wife is still the beneficiary on this life insurance policy? No, come on, that's not possible. And here it is.
Sure, right.
Now you want to see somebody go into action.
Right.
From awareness.
Right.
There's no acceptance. They just skipped right over to action. Like, no, we have the form for you to change it. Here it is right here. Right?
Sure.
I mean, we can anticipate that.
Sure. I want to be impossible to misunderstand. This is not a judgment thing, right? I'm not judging the business owner as like, shame on you for not.
Right.
It's just like, wow, that's still, and I guess
James Gandolfini.
Right. Exactly. Right.
I mean, we could probably
Michael Jackson's estate.
Right.
I mean,
yes. Prince's estate. I mean, this is modern day stuff.
Right.
Right. I mean, Joe Robbie was a bit ago.
Yeah.
But
people from today. And and you're right. I mean, it is the plight of the entrepreneur. They're blowing and going. And what you and I often find, the balls that get dropped most, and it's not that the balls get dropped, they just never get dealt with, is usually the personal stuff, right? The business is great. Like most business owners that you and I come across, I mean, sure, they might think their business is worth a little bit more than it is, but generally speaking, it's a pretty well-oiled machine, right? Yeah. There's some things that need a little bit adjusting, and if we're going to help you maximize the value of this thing over the next 3 to 5 years, then here are some things we need to get done. But for the most part, that thing is, as you would say,
right. Correct.
Where they're not is on the personal planning side and the personal financial planning side. More and more and more. Like this most recent client, and this is where I love the tools that we use to help create awareness. And for those brave enough to dive in and go, okay, I want to learn where I'm at. I want to understand the truth of where I am because I recognize that most of my net worth is locked up in this thing. And we've just got to get prepared to be able to harvest that wealth out and then use that wealth and set it up in a way that it supports what matters most to us for the rest of our lives, whatever Life 3.0 looks like, whatever that next act looks like. And so when we can first sit down and offer a tool called the Kolbe analysis, right, the Kolbe A index, and have both partners in the partnership go through this initial Kolbe analysis, what they discover about how they take action is fascinating. And with this last newer client that we're working with, what I shared with them is this Kolbe analysis, which measures, Kathy Kolbe created this. It measures kind of the hard wiring of how you make decisions. Unlike Myers-Briggs, where, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed like I do every third Wednesday of the month, you might have a different result. The conative wiring of how you make decisions, about how you act and react to external stimuli, right? That's kind of hardwired, and it generally does not change over time. So I shared with them that you and I started using this tool. You started using it years before you met me. I learned about it similarly through my corporate life, and here we come together and we both love the same tool. Selfishly, it was a tool that you and I used to learn how to best communicate with our clients.
Yep.
Right? We wanted to learn whether or not they needed lots of information to make decisions or whether they were 3 bullet point executive summary people like you and me. How good are they at following through on things they say they're going to do? Like if we send them a proposal, are they going to sign that proposal and send it back to us, or is it going to take a little nudging for us to help them follow through on the things they need to follow through with, or some of the assignments that we give them, like the worksheets we're about to talk about, right? Do people, the implementer category of whether they need to touch and feel something or whether they can see it in their brain, right? And then how do we communicate with them based on what we learn about how they take action? What I love is how we've started to see, especially with the entrepreneurs we're working with, where one is part of the business and one is actively not part of the business, how they start learning about how to communicate with each other. When they start seeing, oh, wow, that makes a lot of sense now.
We like to have a little fun with this exercise.
Oh, it's fun.
From the standpoint of helping them be more aware of their partner's natural style, right? Has an indirect benefit of helping us understand, okay, like you said, executive summary here, 3 bullet points. And with the partner, we're actually going to explain, and source the parts, like where all the watch parts came from and, what the weather was like on the day that those parts were manufactured and all of that. That is intended to kind of serve, how does the client do best, learn best, act best, right? Who's the client that we need to really be working with on the follow through?
Right.
Because generally, for them to be successful in life, one of them has been better at follow through than the other.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, in this case with this couple, what was really cool to see was one of them had a very high tendency for follow through and one of them did not.
There you go.
And what was really cool was the one who has the high follow through tendency looked at the spouse who did not, and all of a sudden had a little bit of grace and compassion for them. Like, oh, wow. So I've been getting like irritated with you over the years with how you handle certain things.
Because you don't.
And I've been a little resentful over the fact that it's me who's handling a lot of those things. But now that I understand this is just not how you're wired, and I'm starting to see how much more, I mean, again, these are my words, not their words, but in essence, starting to see how as a couple, we might actually benefit from the fact that we have a little bit of yin and yang here.
Sure.
Right. And then it's not about having resentment for the fact that you don't do what I do. Mm-hmm. It's rather how we now start to complement one another. There's a couple that's been married for, a bit. Right? To see them discover that about each other
fun.
And strengthen their partnership as a result, that tells me that when we get to the other side of that exit plan, when we're in life 3.0, they got a good shot at being okay.
Right.
It's awesome.
Right.
Now, once we figure out how people take action, right, how they do stuff, this is where the next 4 worksheets really start to get to bone. They get to it. We have this kind of high-level dreams and visions worksheet that just helps people figure out kind of how they see money showing up in their lives. Like, what are the main purposes in like 5 or 6 different categories of how money is meant to serve them. And it's a great little snackable, as you would like to say, to kind of get us started before the next 3 checklists, which really dive deep, where we are looking at professionally, AKA our purpose, personally and financially, how satisfied we feel with all these different aspects of our lives. It's such an incredible exercise.
It's
in awareness.
It's a self-assessment and awareness.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And because they're doing this in advance of us getting together as it's a kind of a homework assignment, they have plenty of time to think about this stuff. And what we encourage is just be brutally honest with yourself.
Yes.
There's no judgment here. There's no grade. There's no, nothing's bad going to happen. So be really honest with yourself. Where are you at?
Yep.
And then what we do is kind of, we like to hold them up, visually, take their 2 assessments, right? In a married couple. Well, I mean, but in terms of one, let's say the financial life checklist.
Right.
And kind of hold it up like an X-ray.
Yeah.
And shine it into the light to be able to see where do things overlap?
Right.
Where are things not aligned?
Right.
And who's feeling better about this or that or worse? And that's really helpful because that allows us the opportunity to be able to, again, slow down the conversation and unpack what is it about the level of financial education that you have, or what is it about your ability to communicate money issues with your partner that on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, you're a 1.
Wait, you guys are going to ask me questions like that? I thought it's just going to be like, how satisfied are you with the level of insurance benefits you have?
Oh, yes. Exactly.
We get deep. Well, and that's, I think, let's rewind the tape here for a second. These 3 assessments are 20 questions.
Yeah.
That do, how do you feel about, I'm satisfied with certain financial aspects, but then, we are going to get a little deeper, and you rate yourself 1 through 5. I'm not satisfied. 2, I'm very satisfied. And like you said, we hold them up, and what we're looking for are those outliers. Where is there a lot of alignment between the partners, where they both feel incredibly unsatisfied, dissatisfied, or completely satisfied? And then where are the outliers where they're on different pages? And to be able to, at this point, recognize, this is where we introduce this concept, where we've got three different players that we're accounting for here in the room. There's partner A, there's partner B, and then there is this entity
Called we.
There's you, there's me, and there's we. And the whole point of going through these different checklists is to be able to see where there's we, where there's you, and where there's me, and building a plan that reflects equal amount of importance on those three different individuals. It's not about right and wrong. It's about making sure that all three of those players in the room are connected and that the financial resources meant to support the greatest hopes and dreams and aspirations of those three different players are accounted for. Right? How can you and I sit down together and support her? How can you and I sit down together and support him? How can we support them? It's a fabulous exercise in creating some awareness and to see how the lights come on in their eyes about, ooh, I didn't know that about you. Now that I know that about you, I'm even more excited about what Life 3.0 could look like. The discoveries within relationships.
Well, and that gets into a little bit of the acceptance phase of this.
Yes.
Right? And in the context of which we're getting our ahead of ourselves, but
that's okay. We're almost done with this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like to your point on, I was feeling some resentment over the fact that I was always the one to be doing the follow through, but it's really not your natural style. And having some acceptance around the fact that as a team, right, in the concept of we, let's actually celebrate that.
Yeah.
Let's actually harness that.
Yes.
And not try to, I mean, one of my favorite summer interns of all time was a graduate of St. Mary's University. And she's now in her early 40s. And she's a client. I just did a review with her not too long ago. And I said, I still remember that first real conversation we had around, what's your big takeaway from our experience together? And she's like, you know what? I spent my entire academic career from first grade through senior year of college trying to improve my deficiencies, trying to get better at the things I'm not good at.
You just poked an itch on me.
And you're the first person in my entire life that said, forget all of that.
Yeah.
We just need to zero in on your absolute unique ability, the gift that you've been given, and we need to absolutely drive that as far as you can take it.
Sure.
And that's where I get excited when we do these assessments and checklists with folks, because it's not a competition. If there's competition in the room, like you're feeling competitive energy between the couple,
which is natural,
which can happen.
Yeah.
We try to diffuse that with the concept of, okay, let's pick on a baseball team, right? Does the pitcher catch?
Generally not.
Does the catcher pitch?
Generally not.
Right. So the simplest analogy is, let's use the strengths of the different people that we have on the team to get us to the promised land of where we're trying to go.
Absolutely.
That's how we're going to get there faster.
Absolutely.
By slowing this down, looking at where the strengths are, and just accelerating those.
Right.
Accelerating those strengths.
Teaching couples how to collaborate with one another. Because, look, I'm 27 years, I've been married, and very quickly can fall into this competitive thing with my spouse. And I love how we kind of take almost like the Steph Curry, come on, let's get to your world of basketball, right? The Steph Curry, LeBron James thing that's been going on for years that most people think is competitive. Most people think that Steph Curry and LeBron James have been competing against each other for all these NBA championships, that they were going against each other for all these years. And here's a little secret. They were not. The only person Steph Curry competes with when he steps on the court every day is himself yesterday. Same with LeBron James. So the two of them, I can't wait for them to both be retired and start telling stories about this stuff. I'm going to predict that they will one day tell stories about how they helped each other become great and how they relied on each other to become the best versions of themselves. And you know what? Some years you got the trophy and some years I got the trophy. But brother, I'm grateful we got to do that together.
And we got most of them.
And you and I together got most of them. Exactly. To be able to show that to a couple is awesome. Hey, we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I'm like making a little executive decision. I think for our tribe, we should give away one of these checklists. Reach out to us.
Totally.
Let's give away the personal financial checklist.
Sure.
Go through it. Take a little assessment of yourself. Become a little more aware. In the show notes, you're going to see a link for where you can text us and reach out to us to get a copy of our personal financial checklist. In the text message, you got to give us an email address so that we can send that to you.
We would strongly encourage you to do it with your partner.
We'll get 2 copies, right? And do them individually. Do not sit down and do these together. What you're going to get is 20 different questions. This is not a difficult exercise. I bet you if you get your head out of the way and just let your gut roll, you're going to go through and you're going to rank these 20 different areas of your financial life. I am satisfied, 1 to 5. I am not satisfied, 2, I'm very satisfied. And you're going to go through these 20 different questions that are going to look at every aspect of your personal financial life and help you develop a little bit of awareness about where you really feel good about yourself, where you're incredibly confident in your financial life, and then some areas where you're not as confident in your financial life. And what's really cool is when you and your partner sit down and put those 2 together and see where you have overlap and see where you have differences, and then work together as a team to try to build more confidence in those areas where they're lacking.
And do all of us a favor and answer it absolutely, critically, honestly.
Yes.
Don't do some charade where you're scoring yourself better, but when you stop and you think about it, I don't feel good about this, but you gave yourself a 3.
I appreciate you
Right?
saying that.
Because we all want to do well on any kind of an exam. And sometimes I feel as though this feels like an exam, but it's not. It's not. It's an awareness tool to be able to say, this is where I am in my life on my personal financial to-dos.
Well,
And if you're on the fence on a number, round it down, right? If you have strong conviction on something, hit it.
dude, come on.
But don't be wishy-washy and okay, no, I'm going to give myself I'm going to round that one up.
We're entrepreneurs. We're not on the fence about shit. It's a matter of being honest with yourself.
Yes.
That's what this is about.
That's what we're asking.
You want to pass the test? I'm going to sleep fine tonight no matter what you score on the test. If you want to get the best out of this, the most out of this, be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Be honest with yourself. See where you're at.
That's where the real progress happens.
You can't get the anchor off the bottom an inch until you're honest with where you are so that you can start to see where you want to go. And again, the suggestion is do this with your partner, but do it separately. And if you'd like some help going through it after you've gone through it because you've discovered some things about yourself you weren't aware of, we'd be happy to step in and be a blind spotter for you.
Love it.
Had fun today.
Take us up on it.
Absolutely.
Right? Obviously, we could talk about this for days and days and days and days because we have.
Yes.
And there's lots more to talk about because the awareness is where we're starting. But ultimately, I mean, you fast forward this thing, it's the action that really starts to give some relief to the entrepreneur and their partner on where they're going with this.
You're such a 7. You love going out.
Have to go out.
We got more awareness to do because next up is this thing called the Clarity Compass.
Oh, I know.
And holy cow.
That's a big a boy.
Our tribe has no idea what they're in for in the next episode. So with that, my brother,
that's a wrap.
Thanks for joining us today on the Whole Wealth Journey. Whatever your path may look like, our purpose is to make sure that your way forward aligns with your core values and intentions. Are you ready to start planning for a future that's rich in wealth and well-being? Then click like and subscribe and make sure you don't miss a single episode of the Whole Wealth Journey.
So if we've struck a nerve with you today, where do people go?
You can find us at GebhardtWholeWealth.com. That's GEBHARDT wholewealth.com. And once you get there, make sure you connect with us so you can take the first steps to finding your why. We'll see you next time.
Jim Gebhardt is a registered representative of and securities offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Jim Gebhardt and Matthew Grishman are investment advisor representatives of Gebhardt Group Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, and Gebhardt Group Incorporated are not affiliated. The opinions in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or investment recommendations. To determine which investments or financial advice may be appropriate for you, consult a financial advisor prior to investing. Any reference to market performance is based on historical information, and there is no expressed or implied guarantee of future performance. Opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. The topics discussed and opinions given are not intended to address the specific needs of any listener. Gebhardt Group Incorporated does not offer legal or tax advice. Listeners are encouraged to discuss their financial needs with the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.